Hey guys, I wanted to stop by just for a moment and share with you the benefits of setting high standards. Is that okay with you? Why we should never settle for average. I want to share with you four things to getting off the ground to the moon. Is that okay? And what I learned a long time ago when I was growing up is to aim for the moon. The story goes that if you aim for the moon, and even if you don't get to the moon, at least the stars are in reach. And many of you probably have heard the same story. It's probably been taught to you at some point in your life. Yet, for some of us, if we're honest, we have to admit that at some point, we just kind of started to settle for mediocrity. Like at some point, life presented to us a couple of challenging situations and we just became okay with being average. Maybe just being able to pay the bills, just getting the kids through school, just surviving and not losing our mind. And I'm not saying that we, jump up and down, celebrate the fact that we have just average lives. No, I don't believe that we do that. But we just kind of accept and just resign ourselves to the idea that this is what it is. My life is what it is. And I'm a firm believer in being present and in the moment, accepting that in each moment that we are where we are and finding some light in that moment. However, I'm not a proponent of just accepting self-limiting beliefs and actions because we can always strive and work to get better. And I'm not talking about being better by someone else's standard either. I'm talking about being better by your own standards of what you know that you're capable of. I'm not a proponent of you just allowing tough times or difficult seasons to make you stop fighting, just to take all the fight out of you. Because like I would say, even when I was facing imminent evictions and immediate loss, I haven't heard the fat lady begin singing yet. She's not singing my eulogy and she's not singing your eulogy. See, I was always taught that when the tough gets going, that the tough get going. But I know that that requires us having some high expectations and setting high standards for our lives. Standards that stretch us, pull us, demand excellence of us, and that requires resiliency in us. Yes, having high expectations and high standards is the beginning phase of unlocking your full potential and achieving greatness. High expectations are what makes us know that we're created to win in manifesting the life that we desire. It's the high standards where we put in the work, sowing the type of seeds that's capable of producing the outcomes that we want. And if you want to be phenomenal, if you want to produce phenomenal fruits, you have to realize that you're going to have to sow some really good seeds in some fertile ground. So I want to look at about 4 or 5 things to help us to get to the moon and not just stay stuck on the ground. And the first thing that we'll have to do is get out of our comfort zone. That's the first thing we've got to know because very few people, if any, ever got to the moon in their comfort zone. I mean, think about it. In fact, the rigors of what potential astronauts have to go through just preparing to go to space is nothing short of brutal and insane. I think about the 2-a-day practices that we would have to go through in 90, sometimes 100-degree weather just to be prepared to win football games. And I want you to know not to expect life to be easy for you, not to expect it to be easy for you to get to the moon. See, if your life is going to be defined as excellence by your own standards again, and I keep saying by your own standards to remind you that you're not in competition with anybody except the best version of who you are. That things in life, the things that you want in life, won't always come easy to you. Won't always come easy to you, but you got to understand that my idea of excellence don't have to be your idea of excellence. What I define as the criteria of excellence don't have to be what you define as the criteria of excellence, but you do have to be honest with yourself and not just chicken out and call mediocrity excellence when you know that it's not. You got to challenge yourself. You got to set high expectations and high standards. And don't be afraid to stand out from the crowd. See, you didn't come into this earth in a pack, and you're not leaving in a pack. You're an individual. And if you're going to become and sustain dynastic levels of success, you're going to have to set yourself apart from average. Second thing is to set goals that challenge you, but that are realistic. I also heard it said that we oftentimes overestimate what we can do in a year, but oftentimes underestimate what we can do in a lifetime. So find some balance that requires excellence and accountability while also being realistic. See, it's like the person that has never made $40,000 a year with no business that says all of a sudden, in the next 6 months, I'm going to make $5 billion or $5 million. It sounds great. And you may even work extremely hard to get there, but without something realistic to get you there, your brain is going to eventually dismiss the idea of $5 million. And then that $5 million will become more of a burden that represents impossibility instead of it serving to inspire you. I don't say change the end game. No, keep the 5 million at 5 million, but just break it up into quarters. Maybe start with the challenge of doubling the 40,000 that you earn, and then get to 80,000. And once you get to 80,000, then maybe double that to 150 or 200,000. And then whatever the next number is based on the type of seeds that you are able to sow or acquire, then create the next number. See, how many of you feel like at times you're just going through the motions, settling for mediocrity? And all I'm saying is it's time to change that mentality and aim for the moon. Set high goals, challenge yourself, but be realistic. Again, it's important that you hear me say this to you, because people will tend to make you believe that something is impossible just because it's impossible for them. And the third thing is to focus on continuous improvement, because continuous improvement is the foundation of excellence. It's how we develop a sense of pride and satisfaction in our work. And a key to growing is to pay attention to the outcomes while focusing on the input. See, because we can't always control the outcome, but we can always control what we put in it. And as we grow, we become more confident in growing, because eventually you will start seeing a return on your investment. The things that you put in will start to produce for you, which gets to be exciting if we stay present in the moment, not letting ourselves get to this place where either we're at our destination, or we say to ourselves, well, there's nothing really to be excited about. See, I've been plagued with that mindset at points in my life where either I was there or it was nothing to celebrate. But that's a buzzkill. That's the way to sap your energy. That's the way to stop your momentum. And I'm not suggesting that you act like you won the game in the first quarter. No, I'm not saying that. But I am saying that it's important that we acknowledge that we've scored a touchdown in the first quarter en route to winning the game. And that scoring is something that we should be okay with appreciating. And so as we continue to grow, it's important that we stay committed to learning, to growing, to innovating, and to maintaining a willingness to embrace change. Life is always changing, and we've got to be willing to challenge the status quo. And the fourth and the last thing I'll share with you in this video is to be ready and willing to overcome obstacles. Because no journey to greatness is without obstacles. Whether the obstacle is self-doubt, whether it's the fear of failure, whether it's external challenges, the path to success is often paved with setbacks and struggles. I've also heard it said that it's not what happens to us that determines who we become or where we get in life, but rather how we respond to the things that happen to us. That'll determine whether we get to the moon or not, because life happens to and for all of us. Sometimes it feels like it's happening to or against us. Sometimes it feels like it's happening for us. It's just called life. We all go through it. However, it's by staying focused on our goals, maintaining a positive attitude, and learning from our mistakes that helps us to keep climbing and keep climbing. See, you can overcome any obstacle and emerge stronger and more resilient than you were before going through it if you maintain the right mindset. Make it a point and encourage yourself while encouraging others to use tough moments in life to make you better and not bitter. Also, if you're going to get to the moon, it's important that you persevere, be resilient, develop a mindset of a champion and the courage of a lion. Yes, because tough times come for all of us. The seasons are constantly changing, and successful people learn how to take life one step at a time. We learn when to run fast, during appropriate seasons and situations. We also learn how to be consistent in continuously improving and moving forward. It's also important that we maintain our ability to bounce back from setbacks and to maintain a sense of purpose and direction in staying focused on where we're going. So many of us look back and we spend more time looking back than looking forward. And so let me say this in closing, that I know that you were born to win. I know that you were born to reach the moon. And I want you to know that, which means I want you to aim high. I want you to never settle. And then I want you to allow your high standards to propel you to the moon. And if you should find yourself struggling to take off, find yourself struggling to gain some altitude or to keep climbing higher, and you need some assistance, then contact me at Carlos Head Coaching. That's at www.carloshead.com. And let's work together at getting you to the moon. This is your destination. It's to walk on the moon because you were created for that.